Hello dear students, in the previous video we discussed about the partition of India into India and Pakistan. We also discussed about the problems, difficult situations, tragic moments faced by the people who had to transfer their nationality. So dear students, in today's class we will discuss about the consequences of partition. So let's start the class and the discussion. Dear students, the year 1947 is considered as the most abrupt, unplanned, tragic transfer of population and largest communal riots in human society. There were killings, atrocities, and everything that is unhuman was present at that time. People of Hindu communities were killing to Muslim communities. People of Muslim communities were killing to Hindu communities. And in this situation, riots, especially on the name of religion, spread in all over the region. And the cities like Lahore, Amritsar, and Kolkata were divided between two communities, Hindus and Muslims. Hindus avoided going into the places where Muslim community was living. Similarly, Muslims did not went on the places where Hindus were in majority. So these cities were quite divided into Hindus and Muslims, areas of Hindus and Muslims. And both the communities were refraining themselves from going into others' area. Forced to abandon their homes and move across borders, people went through immense suffering. The people who were forced to transfer their nation, transfer their home, they suffered up to the last limit of suffering. They faced everything. They were looted, they were attacked, and women, especially women, they were captured, raped, and forced to get into marry. So all the things which are unhuman were happening with those people who were forced to transfer their country, their nationality. Minorities on the both sides of border fled their homes. Minorities, especially minorities from the both of countries on the both sides of the border were suffered the maximum tragic moments. They found helpless, and even before 2 days, when they had any problem regarding any other person, they used to go to the police station, but at that time, after partition, the police was also helpless. So they could not approach to the police or any administrative office to get help. In this situation, their life was totally destroyed. When they traveled across the border, then they were looted, attacked, kidnapped, killed, raped. Thousands of women were abducted and forced to get into marry. They were made to convert their religion. It means people who were abducted, especially women, they were forced to change their religion, especially Hindus who were captured by the Muslims were forced to change their religion and adopt Muslim religion. Similarly, it was with the Muslim women also. Those who did not manage to cross the border found that they had no home. It means the people who anyhow could manage to cross the border, they felt that after crossing the border, they reached in the other country and they had no home there. For lakhs of refugees, the country's freedom means for the lakhs of persons, lakhs of citizens, the freedom means the life in refugee camps. They were kept in refugee camps and they spent their life in refugee camps, and even they could not get the proper citizenship of any country. Writers, poets, and filmmakers, they depicted and expressed their thoughts through their poems, writings, and films, and they tried their best to make the people of today know the situation of that time. And while recounting the trauma of partition, they have used they have often used the phrase that the survivor themselves used to describe partition as a division of hearts. And they finally recounting the trauma, they finally after recounting the trauma and told that the division was not between the two countries, India and Pakistan, it was the division of hearts of people. The people who were their good neighbors before 2 days after separation, they were enemy of each other. They were ready to kill each other. That's why this was not the division of the countries, it was the division of hearts. The partition was not merely a division of properties, liabilities, and assets or political decision of country and the administrative apparatus. Dear students, the partition was not merely of the property, assets, administrative decisions, or some other devices. It was also the division of heart. What also got divided were the financial assets, things like tables, chairs, typewriters, paper clips, books, and also musical instruments of the police band. Dear students, things like chair, table, typewriter, paper clips, chairs, tables, books, musical instruments of police department, they were also divided between India and Pakistan. So it was complete division. It was division of huts, division of boundaries, division of areas, division of materials. The employees of the government and the railways were also divided. It was quite interesting that the employees of the government departments like railways were also divided in India and Pakistan. Above all, it was a violent separation of communities who had hitherto lived together as neighbors. It is estimated that the partition forced about 80 lakh people to migrate across the new border between 5 to 10 lakh people were killed in partition related violence. Okay, so dear students, it was division of areas, division of hearts, division of people, and division of things, especially things of government departments, and it was also the division of government employees like railways and police. And it is estimated that around 80 lakh people from both of these countries were forced to cross the border and get into other country. And it is also estimated that between 5 to 10 lakh of people were killed during that trauma when they tried to cross the border and they were attacked and killed. Beyond the administrative concern and financial strains, however, the partition posed another deeper issue. The leader of Indian national struggle did not believe in the two-nation theory, and yet partition on religious basis had taken place. There was one more concern that the Indian leaders did not believe, did not consider the division of these nations on religion basis. But yet the division, the partition was done. Did that make India a Hindu nation automatically? Even after large scale migration of Muslims to newly created Pakistan, the Muslim population in India accounted for 12% of the total population in 1951. So, if the division on the religion basis was done, then after the separation, after the population moved to Pakistan, did India become a Hindu nation? Answer is not. After division, separation of countries, around 12% Muslim community was registered in 1951. So, some Muslims decided to live in India and survived anyhow in India. But nowadays, they have all the political rights, all the fundamental rights which are given to Hindus, and both Hindus and Muslims share equal rights, equal harmony in India as well as in their society. So how would the government of India treat its Muslim citizens and other religious minorities? The partition had already served conflict between two communities. Okay, so there was a question: how Indian government treat Muslim population and other communities like Sikhs, Christians, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis, and Jews. No doubt they were in minorities, but they were living in India. So it was a question for Indian government in which way they have to treat these communities. There were competing political interests behind these conflicts. The Muslim League was formed to protect. Okay, means the population was divided into mainly two groups, Hindus and Muslims, and the interests of Muslim communities were protected by the Muslim League during the colonial India. It was in front of demand for the separation Muslims. Also similarly, Muslim League demanded for the separate nation, that was nation for the Muslims. And there were organizations which were trying to organize the Hindus in order to turn India into a Hindu nation. But most leaders of India, of the national movement, believed that India must treat persons of all religions. Okay. Similarly, as Muslim League was leading Muslim community, there were leaders in India who were also organizing Hindu communities and they tried to declare India as Hindu nation. But most of the leaders of national movements, they wanted to make India as the religion of all the people. It means they wanted that India must be treated as the persons of all religions. It means they wanted to declare India, they wanted to make India as a secular nation where all the religions are honored and the government will not pursue any particular religion. And they believe that all the religions must be honored equally and that India should not be country that gave superior status to adherents of one faith and inferior to other to those who practice another religion. It means, in short, if you say, they wanted to India make secular state where all the religions have similar, equal and same liberty, same freedom, and that was the theory of a secular nation. All citizens would be equal irrespective of their religious. So the leaders of India finally declared in the Constitution of India that India will be a secular nation, and the idea of secularism, that is India is a secular nation, is also enshrined in the Constitution of India. And all the citizens, irrespective of their religion, whether Hindu, Muslim or Sikh or any other religion, all the citizens have equal fundamental social and economical rights in every respect of life. So dear students, in today's class we discussed about the consequences of partition. In next class we will discuss about integration of princely states. So dear students, keep these classes watching and enjoy the session. Thank you.